Well, what can I say? Last night we had a video from somebody who said this is the last thing they wanted to be doing, and tonight I find myself doing exactly the same thing. So this is how I see it. It's my opinion, and you can like it or you can lump it, but this is me being brutally honest about the whole thing. A number of years ago I got into Lloyd's channel, and what I liked about the man is the fact that he came out and said he was an atheist, which was for me really unusual because most ex-witnesses that I'd seen at that point were still believing in the Bible, God and Jesus and all that stuff. And I warmed to the fact that Lloyd come out saying, hey, it's cool to be an atheist. And that's when I started putting up my videos and doing my story, because I was thinking, you know, because at the end of the day is most of my videos relate to the fact is that I don't believe in the Bible, I don't believe in our concept of the God that we understand it to be. And I thank Lloyd for that. I did a video saying that Lloyd had changed my life, because it is as many may be aware, that it's as a result of me putting up videos that my mother in fact sort of disassociated herself from me, and I have no relationship with my mum at all because of the sort of anti-witness videos that I was putting up. So Lloyd, being connected to Lloyd in that way, has had a profound effect on me. And I went and met Lloyd and his wife in Manchester. We went out with other people for a curry, not a Thai curry before you start. We went out for a curry, an Indian curry, and I met him, and it was a pleasure to meet him. I thought him and his wife made a lovely couple. When that video came out, whenever it was, in December, I can't mind now, or early January, where Lloyd was saying he was taking a break, I was absolutely taken aback. And I, of course, did a video in response to his video, saying that because Lloyd has said, please don't try and think what's going on. Please, have let my family, myself deal with this matter. I thought, and I put in the video, that he'd become burnt out. I thought he had taken too much on, and that he had burnt out completely. And I said, he actually responded on my video, and I said, even if it's the last Lloyd Evans video we get, what legacy you've left behind, and do what you need to do for the sake of you and your family. And I left it at that. And shortly afterwards, my video was on some Jehovah's Witness Facebook site, and somebody put underneath, yeah, I hear he's got marital problems and drink. And Lloyd has said, please don't speculate what's gone wrong here. And when I thought about marital problems and drink, I thought, well, that makes sense. To me at that time, I thought maybe it's got too much. He's tried to medicate with alcohol. He spent too much time in the bunker, and eventually his wife said, you know, it's you either knock this on the head, your activism, or, you know, I'm taking the kids or whatever. I don't know. That's how I meant it to be. And I thought at the time, once I heard that it was related to drink and marital problems, I was thinking that how Lloyd had said, please respect my privacy, on our family's privacy. But I thought at that time it was a little bit hypocritical, purely because Lloyd has presented himself and his family, his wife and his children, in this sort of, in the family construct, in his activism, because they've regularly appeared in his videos, and he often talks about his wife and his children. And we've seen them in the videos, and he could have just remained for all this time, not Lloyd Evans, but John Cedars. And we don't know who John Cedars is. We don't know who his wife is, if he's got married or whatever, but he decided to put that out to say, hey, my name's Lloyd Evans, actually, going to change the name of the child to Lloyd Evans, and this is my wife, and these are the names of my children. He chose to do that. Then to turn around and say, I don't people to speculate what's going on, I thought it was a little bit hypocritical when it came to what happened in Bottlegate with Tony Morris, when literally Lloyd absolutely ripped the shit out of Tony Morris, not just on the Bottlegate video, but also on ensuing videos where he said, look at this video here, this is perfect demonstration that Tony Morris is going on stage pissed. He's inebriated, he's got a drink problem, he's an alcoholic. And so many times he did that in relation to Tony Morris. Now, I don't like Tony Morris, I don't like what he stands for, but at the end of the day, he's an elderly man, and to be coming out with these things, although most ex-witnesses revelled in it, and Lloyd revelled in presenting this, but then all of a sudden to turn around and say, I want you to respect the privacy of my family, I just thought at that time it was a little bit hypocritical, but I wasn't going to pursue it. Afterwards, I thought, well, just let it be. That was up until a couple of days ago, when it came in my video feed, new video from Lloyd Evans. And I thought, surely this can't be a new video from Lloyd, because he said he was knocking on the head for 2 months at least. Because he said in his last video that he was seeking a therapist. And I thought maybe it's somebody in Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever, and he's going to try and be sober for 60 days or whatever it is. And he came on and basically started off his video. And as if anybody's seen this video, it starts off with him doing this, because there's no audio, and he looks terrible. It looks terrible, and there's no audio. And then it's going, and then it starts, and then he says, oh, I'm going to have to repeat it all over again. I thought, well, what's he got to say? It's the video that he said, the video I didn't want to make. And then he goes in to say, I've been betrayed by a close friend called Kim Silvio. And I don't know who Kim Silvio from Bloody Mustard. So as his video is breaking up, I'm Googling Kim Silvio and Lloyd Evans, and then it comes to a Reddit thread. So I clicked onto the Reddit thread and started to listen to what Lloyd had to say. And then he goes on to say, I've been betrayed by a close friend, and I need to explain something to you. I was brought up a Jehovah's Witness, and I was sexually repressed growing up. And anybody who grew up as a Jehovah's Witness knows what that's like. I did a video called Jehovah's Witnesses, Masturbation and Me, and I'm sure in that video I talked about the time that there's that one occasion I was 18 and 19 that I cracked one off, and I was feeling that guilty and that worthless of being of letting Jehovah down and letting the Jehovah's Witnesses down, that I actually had a bass guitar wire, which is the pretty thick and strong. I actually put it round my neck and considered finishing myself off, because I just felt I couldn't go on, because I couldn't stop the feelings that I had. And we've all been there. And in another video I put in also, why do so many Jehovah's Witnesses marriages fail? That's because the witnesses aren't encouraged to crack one off. The only way you can get your end away is getting married. And then of course they get married too young, they find somebody who's not sexually compatible because they can't practice sex before marriage. And then of course they find out maybe that they weren't in love with them in the first place, they just rushed into marriage so they could get their end away. So we've all been there, Lloyd, we all know what that's like. But then he went to go on to basically say that even when he got married there were still sexual problems. He all puts this down to being repressed as a teenager growing up with the witnesses, and then went on to admit that he sought sexual gratification from other women. And I was absolutely staggered and taken aback. The reason being, more than anything, is because to me Lloyd and his family were the success story. Jehovah's Witnesses always say that when you leave the witnesses that you can't have a happy family life, you can't have a happy marriage, because unless Jehovah's in your marriage, in your family, you cannot be happy. And there was Lloyd as living proof, and his family, that yeah, you can be happily married, have a happy family life, and be in complete opposition to Jehovah and the witnesses. And all of a sudden he's turned around and say, I've been seeking sexual gratification outside the marriage. And I was absolutely stunned. So I'm listening to this, but listening to the fact that he is blaming his upbringing as a witness as being repressed. But the end of the day is, there's hundreds of thousands of people who weren't brought up as Jehovah's Witnesses who engage in affairs and they can't blame being repressed as a teenager because of a strict Jehovah's Witness upbringing. We have atheists who have affairs and Catholics, and it goes on and on and on. At the end of the day is, if you're going to have it away with somebody who isn't your wife, you know at that point whether what you're doing is right or wrong, and you should have your own moral compass which would stop you going down that road. It should stop you going down that road, especially if you're married, especially if you think, I'm going to let my wife down here, I'm betraying my wife here. You should have, it should be not a Bible trained conscience, but your conscience should prick and say, what I'm doing here is fundamentally wrong, despite not getting my end away as much as I should have 10, 20 years ago. What I'm doing now is fundamentally wrong. That should have kicked in. With him, it clearly didn't, but he seems to be blaming his upbringing as a Jehovah's Witness for his acts in betraying his wife. Now, while I'm listening to Lloyd saying this, there's people commenting on his video, and one person all of a sudden says, Lloyd really explodes and goes, fuck you, so-and-so, I'm not a paedophile. I thought, why would somebody say that? And of course, then the next thing is the audio broke down, and then I looked at the thread in Reddit, and Kim Silvio's initial post is gone. It's gone. It's vanished. The moderators have taken it off. And then underneath it, you have a load of people who are obviously part of the Lloyd Evans cult. And when I say cult, the reason why I say that is because when I did meet Lloyd in Manchester, by that time I think he was only had about 30,000 followers on YouTube, not the over 100,000 he has now. And he actually said to me, somebody said to me that maybe I should start off my own cult. Maybe I should. And it was jokey, but at the time I thought, ooh, that's... why are you saying that, Lloyd? But he did actually say that. And so you got all these people on Reddit who were actually putting comments, the original comments to Kim Silvio's initial posting, saying, how do we know this is you, Kim? And then other people saying, this is a conspiracy, this is clearly a Jehovah's Witness, covert operation to destroy Lloyd Evans, because he's been a thorn in their side for years now, to destroy his reputation and his family, and to end his channel and his activism. And people are saying, prove you're Kim Silvio, prove you're Kim Silvio. And she's going, yeah, I'll do it. I'll put up a YouTube, I'll put up a video. And a video went up and it didn't play. There, that's proof, that's proof. It was all a conspiracy, until finally she does put up a YouTube video. Now that YouTube video she put up to actually just say, yes, it's me, recognise my face, I'm the person from Lloyd's videos. And then what happens is, the abuse that she got on that YouTube channel, and now the comments are turned off. Literally, there was not one comment, and it went on and on and on and on. There was not one comment to say, very brave of you to say that, to come out and say those things. There was nothing. It was all, you're trying to destroy it, you're a backstabber, you're this and you're that, and it is all this. So eventually I think she turned off the comments because she was getting absolutely put through the ringer for having the audacity to actually come out and say what had been going on. And if you don't know what's been going on, according to the comments under the posting that's gone, because other people are saying, the initial post is going on, what did she say? Apparently, it's worse than I initially thought. In Lloyd's video, he actually says, I'm not going to tell you who I've been having extramarital sex with. The reason why he didn't, I was hoping it was maybe some colleague who produces his show with him, or he goes here and there and everywhere with, and he was having an affair with and fallen in love with. It's worse than that. Apparently, Lloyd has been seeking the services of prostitutes and going especially to Thailand to get the services of prostitutes, not once, but several times, going over the past 4 years. And of course, these visits to Thailand have been paid by the people who pay Lloyd to produce his show and his activism. So basically, his patrons have been paying him to get blown in Thailand. And the reason why somebody put on "you're a paedophile" is because Thailand has a bad reputation for, that's where people go to, and especially a lot of British people go to Thailand, because that is where you can have underage sex with boys and girls. And of course they've got the Bangkok lady boys as well. So to actually go all the way to Thailand, you know, to cure your sexual repression from 20 years ago, it's not a good look. And if Lloyd had found out that a member of the governing body had been using prostitutes on a regular basis, or somebody high up in the organisation, he would be on it like a dog with a dog with a bone. He would be on it like a dog on a bone. He would not have let this go. He would have said, this is this guy, this is this person's wife, this is their children, you know, how dare this man do this, blah, 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 blah. And then he would have gone into the very acts of people who end up working in the slave industry, sex industry, how often sometimes they are sex slaves, how often they're brought in at an early age, how often they're getting trolled by gangs, criminal activity, by pimps, that they can't get out of the place that they're in without under the pain of injury or death, that a lot of these women have many diseases. They have to have forced abortions. They get beaten up by their pimps. They get beaten up by punters. It's a terrible life for them. It's not one that they chose. They are forced to become drug addicts and then have to continue in the sex industry to be able to afford the drugs to continue to be a drug addict. You know, the whole thing about using prostitutes, there is nothing good about it at all. And if Lloyd had found out that somebody high up in the governing body or in the witnesses had been using prostitutes, this is what he would have gone down. He would have quoted exploitation, misogyny, you name it, corruption, unfaithfulness. He would have been on it like with a dog with a bone. And yet it's him. It's Lloyd. So I don't. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? At the end of the day, personally, I think, despite loads and loads of people saying, "Oh, Lloyd, take a break, try and get things patched up with your wife and family. That's important." Blah 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 blah. I think personally he's finished. I don't see any way that he can come back after this. I think the Lloyd Evans channel. I wish he kept the John Cedars channel, and then Lloyd could have buggered off and we had somebody else in representing the John Cedars channel, but he decided to own it and then to put his family on there, and now people who've been giving him money must be thinking, I've been sponsoring his trips to Thailand to get blowjobs with God knows who and God knows when and God knows where. And even when I look at videos of Lloyd, I think I can even look at old videos, because when a lot of these videos are abroad, I'm thinking, I wonder if while he was abroad, he was feeling lonely one night after doing an interview, he decided to go to the red light district or bring round a high-class hooker. I don't know. And any future videos that he may put up, you may be thinking, right, I wonder after this video whether the mind boggles. The mind really boggles where we can go with this. I used to love doing links from Lloyd's videos to other people, it was to witnesses, and now all the Jehovah's Witness community know that Lloyd was getting serviced by prostitutes and was able to pay for their services by the money given to him to do his activism. They're going to know it. Jehovah's Witnesses are going to know it. So all of a sudden his credibility is out the window. He's completely compromised himself. There's loads of things now that he will not be able to speak about within Jehovah's Witnesses, because people are going to push the this whole thing that if you point the finger at somebody, there's three that look back at you, and that's what will happen now. Because when he points a finger at Jehovah's Witnesses for this, that, and the other, people go, well, hold on a second, Floyd. Lloyd, what about you? What about this and what about that? And how dare you talk about Jehovah's Witnesses and misogyny and exploitation when you have been using the services of prostitutes, and then that's the epitome of exploitation and misogyny. He's not got a leg to stand on. He's got compromise. His reputation's been tarnished, and as far as I'm concerned, his channel needs to go. Everybody who's watched it has benefited from it. He's helped a lot of people come out, but he needs to go as the face, and he is the face of Jehovah's Witness activism. He's been on the BBC News, the ITV News, the Channel 4 News. He's on Netflix. He was doing a film called The Truth About the Truth, but I don't know what happened to that. He has finished. Nobody can take him seriously anymore. I think he's gone and he needs to go. And if there's no more activism videos, so be it. Somebody else wants to take up the mantle or do the website. I don't think he can even take a back seat and just be the producer anymore, or whatever it is, because maybe his ego wouldn't even allow him to do that. I think his channel needs to go down, because you look at that now, and I don't think I could even watch another Lloyd Evans video, and I find that it breaks my heart. It really, really breaks my heart. You know, I'm absolutely speechless. I don't know what to say. And the thing about it is, the thing about Lloyd is, if at the end of the day he's saying what's the most important thing to him is his family and his marriage, he needs to forget about all this activism, forget about Lloyd, the man, the myth, the leg end. He must concentrate on that and just cease all social media contact with everybody, and just say to his wife, that's me, that's done, I'm going to find a job locally, and I'll just be a happily married man, and we'll just sort it ourselves out. Because if he continues to do this, what happens when he's always going away all over the world doing his wee trips in there? Would she trust him if she went off saying, right, I'm just going to spend another 2 weeks in Tibet? You know, how can he be trusted again? Would you feel comfortable watching one of his videos thinking that maybe he was getting blown after the video? I don't think his wife could trust him. I wouldn't feel comfortable watching them. I've never paid any money to help him along, to sponsor him. I don't know how his sponsors actually feel about this anymore. You know, like Mason Greenwood, you know, he's had all his sponsorships cancelled because of the shit that's occurred over him. I think Lloyd is finished, and I think for his own good self and his own mental well-being and the well-being of his family, he needs to just cut it off right now, and the end of Lloyd Evans, and just try and sort out what's going on in his head and concentrate on his family. Because the sad thing about it is, in another 15 years, when his kids are onto Google, as kids do, they'll Google Lloyd Evans, and all of a sudden he's going to have to deal in 15 years time to be able to explain to his 2 young kids that all of a sudden it went along a former witness community that used to belong to, that he would have been cheating on their mother by paying prostitutes to blow him. And that's something that he's going to have to deal with in the future. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no way forward with Lloyd and his activism anymore. He's finished, and I just don't know what else to say. Many are going to watch this video and are going to still support him, and will not like me for saying these things, and maybe Lloyd will watch it himself and saying, what do you know, who are you? I'm not saying, at the end of the day is, nobody is innocent. We've all done things in our lives which we look back and we go, oh, that wasn't a good cause, and you know, sometimes you have to just own up, hands up, and he hasn't owned this yet. I wish he was. He should have owned this 2 months ago, what it is, when you realised the shit that was potentially at the fan, when he got caught out, and just say, hey guys, I just thought I'd let you know, or just disappear without trace. He could have just closed the whole thing down, and the next thing would be, whatever happened to Lloyd Evans? How we never really known the mystery of what happened to Lloyd Evans, but he still wanted to continue doing this. So I wish he'd done that. I wish he just disappears, closed down his channel, and none of this would have come out, and his reputation would still be there as, you know, the great what happened to Lloyd Evans mystery. But now we know what happened to Lloyd Evans, because this confidant of his, Kim Silvio, decided to just, because maybe she was fed up that Lloyd wasn't owning it enough, and thought this guy is owning it, and still today he's not owning it, because that video never explained that he been having extramarital relations with prostitutes, which is far worse than saying, yeah, this is, you know, there's my producer or my writer or my assistant. To say that you're paying for sex, and I've been going over to Thailand, well, we know over in Thailand it's just so corrupt. I don't know what to say. I feel massively let down, because like a lot of other people, I really did look up to Lloyd, and now I feel a bit of a fool, to be honest with you. I really do feel a bit of a fool. But you know, at the end of the day, is well, what can I say? It's one of these things. But anyway, disappointed. Anyway, that's it. See you later. Bye.